All right, and welcome into Lions Live. Get things started today is Bryce Lichty on the mound, J.R. Morris behind the plate, Brody Genter at first, Denaj Williams at second base, Will Curcio at third, Cyrus Campos at shortstop, Jack Reynolds in left field, Logan Stradley in center, and Cade Cook in right field. And again, we don't have the Johnson University's lineup, but that concludes it for Bryan Colleges. All right, and the first pitch is underway. It's cut on and fouled back. Count out 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That one's lined right back up the middle. Glove by Campos, and he can't finish the play. So that'll be a runner on first for Johnson. Nobody out.
Bryce Lichty getting the start today in game two. Spend most of his time, this may be his first start of the season, spend most of the time out of his pen, and he has gotten better every time he has appeared, and so earned him a starting spot in this game three of the series, the rubber match.
That pitch is called a ball. Lichty comes set. Batter squares the bunt, pulls it back, ball 2. That one's just inside.
Johnson's known for bunting, and they just haven't shown it a whole lot in this series yesterday because they were playing from behind a lot. And then I think they're realizing that you're going to need more than to scrap one run across in this park.
That pitch is taken high. Count now 3-0. That 3-0 pitch is in there. Count now 3-1. Lichty picks off. Runners in safely. Count remains. The 3-1 is fouled off, now full. Runner takes off, and that bouncing ground ball gets between first and second. Now there'll be a runner on first and third.
Really unlucky there for Bryce Lichty. Weak contact, just found a hole. Next pitch from Lichty is in there for strike 1. And that one is in there as well, strike 2. Count now 0-2 here, nobody out. Runners at first and third.
Bryson is in a really good spot right here to pick this one up.
And runner takes off for second, throw down, not in time, and that will cause the runner to come home. So once again, Johnson taking the lead in the first inning. And score is now 1-0. And that pitch was also off the mark outside, ball 1. So now the count 1-2, nobody out, runner at second. The pitch is fouled off at the plate. Next pitch is fouled off toward the third base line. So we'll do it again. Count remains 1-2 here. Here's the pitch. Swung on and hit off the hands, foul down the left field line. So we'll do it once more. Count remains 1-2. Runner at second, nobody out. The pitch from Lichty is in there. Strike 3. Batter strikes out looking at what appeared to be a slider on the outside corner, and now there's one out, runner at first. Infield shifting a little bit. Williams shaded more towards first. Campos holding the runner on at second and kind of playing up the middle. The pitch is low, ball 1. The 1-0 is swung on and hit fairly hard to right field, and that one's going to fall and bounce up against the wall. A quick throw in, and the runner will score from second. And Johnson quickly takes a 2-0 lead here in the first. Lichty's next pitch is hit right back at him and off the glove of Campos, and that'll bring another run across. So Bryce Lichty getting very, very unfortunate plays happening behind him. Ball was hit very hard off of Lichty's glove and bounced, hit off of Cyrus Campos' glove. Johnson now leads 3-0 here, one out, runner at first.
You know, obviously it's never fun to get balls hit off you like this, but this is the kind of pitching that the Bryan coaching staff looks for. Somebody who can come in and fill up the zone.
Absolutely. Some of the pitchers last game had a little bit of trouble with that, and it's what caused that game to spiral a little bit as the next pitch is taken way outside and low for ball 1. Runner takes off. Throw down, not nearly close. Pitch was also out of the zone for a ball. Runner left really early. Lichty probably had time to step off and maybe make a move, but might have not registered. Here's the 2-0. And that pitch is low. Count moves to 3-0. The 3-0. And that one's in there, strike one. The 3-1 is swung on and flied to right. Cook takes a step back and will make the catch. Runner tagged from second and will head to third safely. So now Johnson has a runner at third with 2 outs. Next pitch from Lichty is in the dirt, ball 1.
Bryce definitely needs to do some damage control here. Pick up this out. Stop that runner from third coming home.
And batter squares to bunt, pulls it back, but that is in the zone, strike 1. Next pitch from Lichty is just off the mark. So that will now even the count, or now the count will be 2-1. And that pitch just low. So now the count is 3-1. Three one is off the mark, so another walk. And there is some action in the Lions bullpen. So now with 2 outs, Johnson will have runners at first and third. Next pitch from Lichty is popped up, out of play behind the net. Next pitch from Lichty is in there, strike 2. The 0-2 is little off, ball 1. Runner takes off for second. The pitch is swung on and hit to the shortstop, Campos, who gloves it, throws it across. Another great pick from Brody Genter to record the third out. So a good sliding stop right there from Campos. A good pick right there from Genter. Gets the Lions out of the inning, but not before Johnson's able to put up a 3 spot here in the first. We'll be back after this break. We are now a go here in the bottom of the first inning. Johnson already leading 3-0, and the first batter for the Lions is Cyrus Campos. The pitch. Campos squares to bunt, but quickly pulls it back. Now, interesting thing about the pitcher for Johnson, he is a transfer from St. Andrews, and if you don't know what school that is, it's because that school simply does not exist anymore. Count is now 1-1. Pitch is swung on and fouled straight back. The 1-2. Swung on and hit sharply foul down the first base line. One, two again is low. Count evens out 2-2. The 2-2 home is swung on, hit right back up the middle, base hit. So the Lions will have their leadoff speed threat on, and now the batter will be Jaron Morris. First pitch to Jaron is low, ball one. Picked by the catcher, no movement at first base from Campos. The 1-0 is low, ball two. Here's the 2-0. That pitch also off the mark. Count now moves to 3-0. Here's the 3-0. And an auto take from Morris. Count now moves to 3-1.
That's kind of surprising that he gets an auto take out of anybody on the team.
He is one of the best power hitters in the Lions lineup. I'm not saying that they're lacking in power hitters. But he will look at that next pitch outside and low, ball four. And now the batter will be Brody Genter. Genter moved up in the lineup from last game, now batting in the 3-hole as he'll look at first pitch in there, strike one. Next pitch is swung on a miss, strike two. Here's the 0-2 to Genter. And he'll look at a fastball inside, ball one. Also a pinch runner for the catcher, Jaron Morris at first base, Jackson Ballou. Here's the 1-2 to Genter. And that pitch outside, count evens up at 2-2. Here's the 2-2 home. Upstairs and out, ball three, count now full. Here's the payoff. And that pitch is in there, strike three. So there's the first out for Johnson. And now the batter will be the dangerous Denaj Williams, who continues his streak of terror last game with another home run. Runners at first and second, one out. Here's the pitch. In there, strike one. The 0-1 is swung on, hit sharply over the second baseman's glove. Ledbetter sending Campos home. And the Lions scratch a run across here in the first to cut down the lead. Denaj Williams continues to stay hot with an RBI single. And now the batter will be Jack Reynolds. First pitch to Reynolds is in there for a strike. Here's the 0-1. Swung on a miss, strike two. The 0-2 home is cut on and popped up to left field. Left fielder calling everybody off, and he will squeeze it for out number two. So with Reynolds retired, that'll bring up Will Curcio, who, like I mentioned last game, has been on kind of a cold streak recently. But what a time for him to bounce back right here with a runner at first and second, two outs. First pitch to Curcio is in there for a strike. Here's the 0-1. In there, strike two. So just like that, Curcio finds himself behind 0-2 now with two outs. Here's the pitch. And that pitch is outside, ball one. The 1-2 is swung on and hit sharply to the left. Oh, he bobbled it. Will he beat it out? He will. Oh, but now they've got Jackson Blue caught up, and the throw gets away. So the throw got away. 2 runs will score on the play, and that'll send Curcio to third. And it looks like the former Tennessee coach is going to come out and argue that Curcio should not go to third. Okay, so I'm going to try to explain what just happened to the best of my ability. There was a ground ball. It was booted by the second baseman. Throw went way over the fence. Williams scored. Campos scored as Cook, the new batter, swings and misses for strike 1. And then they sent Curcio to third. So now we're all tied up at 3 with 2 outs, and the batter is Cade Cook. And Cook will take that one inside. Count evens out at 1-1. The 1-1 is way outside. Count moves to 2-1 now. The 2-1 to Cook is swung on and missed, strike 2. Cook also appears to be swinging a different bat than he has been. Usually he swings the Atlas. Now looking like he's swinging a DeMarini Exile as he'll foul that one over the first base dugout. Runner at third, count 2-2, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled back once again. So we'll do it again. Count is still 2-2. Here's the pitch, and that is low, ball 3. So with that ball thrown in the dirt, count is now full 3-2. Here's the payoff. That pitch is outside, ball 4. So Cook walks. Runners now at first and third for the Lions. And the batter will be Caleb McCarty. And we're also going to have a mound visit from Johnson's pitching coach. So after that mound visit, the batter will be Caleb McCarty. Here's the pitch. And that's outside corner, strike one. Cade Cook on first base, Curcio on third. Game is currently tied 3-3 here in the first. The 0-1 is outside corner once again, strike two.
It's a really big spot right here to do some 2-strike, 2-out magic. Give the Lions the lead.
Here's the 0-2. Swung on and missed, strike three. So McCarty strikes out, but the Lions strike back and tie the game up at 3. We'll be back after this break. Here we are now in the top of the second inning. New face on the mound for the Lions, Chris Hall. Here's the 1-0. Swung on and popped up to center. Stradley has a beat on it, fighting the sun a little bit, but he will put the squeeze on it for out number one. Here's Hall's next pitch. And batter squares to bunt, pulls back, but that one will clip the zone. Strike one. Here's the 0-1. Swung on and once again popped up to center. Stradley once again fighting the sun, but catches it in about the same place he did the last one for out number 2. So now 2 gone. Here's the pitch from Hall. And that's in there, strike one. The 0-1 is off the mark outside. Count evens out at 1-1. The 1-1 is inside, ball 2. The 2-1. And batter squares to bunt. And he did not pull back in time, so count will now even out at 2-2. Currently 2s across the top of the scoreboard. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Here's the pitch. And that one plunks him. Maybe a breaking ball that got out of Chris's hand too early. And that'll put a runner at first with 2 outs. Pickoff attempt. No good. Another pickoff attempt. Once again, no good. All keeping the runner in check. Pitch from Hall is low. Back pick from Morris. Not in time. A good look right there from the catcher, Jaron Morris. But also a really good read right there from Johnson's runner to get back safely. Count is now 1-0. The 1-0 is cut on and fouled straight back. Another picked off attempt from Hall. Once again, no good. Runner back safely. The 1-1 is outside, ball 2. Next pitch from Hall is off the mark. Runner takes off, and a bad throw right there from the catcher, Jaron. It stuck to his hand too long. So now the count is 3-1. The 3-1 is upstairs, ball 4. Runners at first and second now with 2 outs. Here's the pitch. In there, strike 1. The 0-1 is swung on and fouled straight back. Count is 0-2, 2 outs. The pitch is swung on and hit on a line. Will Stradley get there? He will not make the catch. 1 run will come in. They'll hold the second runner at third. And Johnson now leads 4-3. So a good effort right there from the center fielder, Logan Stradley, to try to make that catch, but that ball just completely died once it reached the outfield. And now Johnson will have runners at second and third with 2 outs. And first pitch is in there, strike 1.
Chris Hall just needs to do some damage control here and get out of this inning.
Here's the 0-1. Swung on and hit to right. Is that ball going to have enough? It does. So it's a 3-run bomb for Johnson, a Bryan bomb at that. That thing barely got out. And now they lead 7-3 once again. So after that 3-run homer, bases will be cleared. Still 2 outs. Next pitch from Hall is off the mark, outside and high, ball 1. Next pitch from Hall is swung on and fouled off toward the first base side. The 1-1 swung on and foul tipped back. So that'll now move the count to 1-2 now with 2 outs. Holland a good opportunity to finally get out of this inning. The 1-2 is high. So that'll even the count out at 2-2 now. The 2-2 is popped up toward the first base dugout. And wow, okay, that hit the very top of the light pole. So we'll do it again. Count remains 2-2 here with 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 3.
Chris really needs to finish this inning soon. Lions can't afford to have more base runners.
Here's the payoff from Hall. Swung on, hit sharply down the third base line. Fair ball. And that'll for sure be a double. Ball thrown in quickly by Reynolds. And now Johnson has a runner at second with 2 outs. Next pitch from Hall is inside, almost gets the batter. The 1-0 is upstairs, ball 2. The 2-0 from Hall is once again inside. Count now moves to 3-0. And you got to think that if Hall walks this batter, or even if this hitter gets on, that a mound visit is in order. Here's the 3-0. In there, strike 1. The 3-1 offer is swung on and hit sharply, and it's gloved by diving Campos, who throws it across, but in time. What a play from Cyrus Campos. And the Lions finally get out of this inning. They got completely out of control. Johnson now leads 7-3. The Lions need a response. We'll find out if they get it after this break. Here we now go in the bottom of the third. First batter for the Lions is Logan Stradley, who almost gets hit by the first pitch. Lions currently behind 4 right now. Score is 7-3. Last inning completely got out of control. The 1-0 is low. Count moves to 2-0. The 2-1 is off the mark. So that'll move the count now to 3-1. And Stradley will foul the next pitch off at home plate. So with that swing, count is now full 3-2. Here's the pitch. And that is off the mark. Ball 4. So Logan Stradley walks to start off the inning for the Lions, and that'll bring up the leadoff Cyrus Campos. First pitch to Campos is low, ball 1. Here's the 1-0. Outside, count moves to 2-0. Here's the 2-0 to Campos, and he'll look at ball 3 low. So Campos currently in a 3-0 count. Probably going to auto take right now.
If he gets on here, you got to think that the Lions are in a great spot to scratch back or run.
And it appears he was auto taking, but that one will clip the zone. Count now moves to 3-1. Here's the 3-1 offer. Outside corner, strike 2. So Campos will take that one for a strike, and now we are all full up here with a runner at first and nobody out. Here's the payoff. Swung on and chopped to the right side, foul. So we will do it again. Count remains 3-2. Here's the payoff. Runner takes off, and Campos will foul that one straight back. So we'll do it again. Count remains 3-2 here. The payoff is outside, ball 4. So the first 2 lines in this inning walk. Runners at first and second, and now the batter will be Jaron Morris. Lions in a good spot to scratch a run across right here and cut this lead down. Here's the pitch. Way outside, and that one gets to the backstop, and both runners will advance. Runners at second and third now with nobody out. The 1-0 is way upstairs, ball 2. Here's the 2-0 to Morris, and he'll chop one to shortstop. That'll bring 1 run home, and he will be thrown out. So Morris gets the RBI off of a ground out to shortstop. Score is now 7-4. Runner at third, and the batter will be Brody Genter. First pitch to Genter is a breaking ball in there for a strike. Here's the 0-1, and that's in there. Count now moves to 0-2. The 0-2 gets away from the catcher. Campos is going to try to stretch it. Will he get there? Safe! Safe at the plate. So Campos scores on a ball that got away from the catcher. Tag not applied in time. And the score is now 7-5. Count is now 1-2, 1 out. Now nobody on base. Here's the pitch. Swung on and hit high and deep to right field. That one not going to have enough juice, but it drops. And Genter will have a double. Right fielder tried to make a diving catch. It seemed like he kind of inside outed that ball, put a little spin on it, and that one just tucked in fair behind the line. Right fielder not able to catch it. And now there's a runner at second with 1 out. And the batter will be Denaj Williams.
Williams hit his 12th home run of the season last game. Gives him the tie for the number 1 in home runs in the nation.
First pitch to Didi is inside, ball 1. The 1-0 is inside, ball 2. The 2-0 is hit high and deep to right field. Actually, that won't be deep enough. That time, left fielder able to catch it. Seemed like maybe Denaj hit it off the handle. Right fielder kind of dove on the warning track, which is a gravel-like texture. So now there are 2 outs, runner at second, and the batter will be Jack Reynolds. First pitch is in there, strike 1. Genter still at second base. Here's the 0-1, and a breaker in there for strike 2. The 0-2 is swung on and fouled straight back. So we'll do it again. Count remains 0-2. Here's the pitch. Swung on and popped up to the infield around shortstop. Shortstop calls everybody off and will squeeze it for the third out. The Lions get a couple back, though. Score is now 7-5. We'll be back after this break. Here we now go in the top of the third inning. A new face on the mound for the Lions. Ryan Ely, the sidearm, steps in and toes the rubber. Ryan usually comes in the later portions of the game to try to close games out as he'll deliver that first pitch for strike one. But after how this game's been going, Lions just really need some zeros to be put up here in the next couple innings. Next pitch is outside. Count moves to 1-1. The 1-1 is a slider in there for a strike. So now that'll move the count to 1-2 here. The pitch is just outside. Count will even out at 2-2. The 2-2 home is cut on and hit through the left side. And that'll be a single. So luck not really going Ely's way on that batter. That ball was not hit hard whatsoever, but just managed to find a hole. But now the double play is in order. Here's the pitch. And that's inside, ball one. Next pitch is in there for a strike. The 1-1 is in there for strike two. So now the count 1-2, runner at first. Here's the pitch. Swung on him, fouled at the plate. Kind of a half-hearted swing right there. Looked like he missed it from up here, but he just caught a piece of it. So we'll do it again. Count remains 1-2. Next pitch from Ely is maybe a little low, so that'll even the count up at 2-2. The 2-2 home is cut on and miss for strike three. So now 1 out, runner at first.
When you get behind on Ryan Ely, that's just the kind of stuff he'll do to you.
Next pitch from Ely is just a bit off. Count now 1-0. The 1-0 is in there for strike one. The 1-1 is cut on and fouled straight back, so count moves to 1-2 now. Here's the 1-2 home. Cut on and hit fairly sharply towards the left center gap. That will fall. Stradley cuts it off. Throw into third is cut off. Throw to second, not in time. So that'll be a double. Runners at second and third. Still only 1 out. Batter kind of flared his hands at the ball and caught barrel right there and had it perfectly placed between Stradley and Reynolds. Was able to leg it out for a double. And that pitch will get him. So now the bases will be loaded with 1 out.
And that's not all bad. Now the Lions are in a double play position. A double play would get them out of this inning.
And let's see if it even makes it to there, as we now see Jordan Day coming out to the mound instead of Corey Reinhardt. And it looks like Ryan's day just is not finished yet. So after the mound visit, bases will be loaded with 1 out. Here's the pitch, and that's in there for strike one. The 0-1 from Ely is swung on and missed, strike two. The 0-2 is outside, ball one. So that'll move the count to 1-2 now. Next pitch is off the mark. Count is now even at 2-2. The 2-2 home is cut on and grounded to the third baseman, Curcio, who can't glove it. And that's going to cause 1 run to score, 2 runs to score, and the batter will head to second. So a good job right there from Ryan Ely to get the ground ball that could have possibly been a double play. Curcio not able to glove it on the short hop. And now the score is 8-5. Score is now 9-5 Johnson. Next pitch from Ely is in there for a strike. Left side of the field playing in. Right side playing it a little deeper. The 0-1 is swung on and hit to the second baseman, Williams, who will glove it and throw it to first, but that will bring another run home. Score is now 10-5. And it looks like one of the Johnson players, he's grabbing his hamstring area. So we'll see what's up with that. In the meantime, we're going to go on a break. Here we are back. We did find out that the player from Johnson had a cramp. Next pitch from Ely is swung on and missed for strike one. Runner is now at third with 2 outs. The 1-0, the 0-1, I mean, is swung on and missed. Count now 0-2. Here's the 0-2 home. And a little bite from the batter, but no swing. Count now moves to 1-2. Here's the 1-2 offer. And that pitch is in there. Strike three, a backdoor slider. And Ely gets out of this. Unfortunately, though, Johnson now leads 10-5 as they put up a couple more. 3 to be specific. See if the Lions can respond after this break. Here we now go in the bottom of the third inning. Johnson currently leading, as the batter will be Will Curcio, who will foul that one off to the third base side. Johnson currently leading 10-5 here. Here's the 0-1 to Curcio, who swings and hits a rocket to left. Is that one going to go? It will! Billy Bombs hits one out to left. See ya! And just like that, score is now 10-6. Curcio definitely needed that bomb after being cold these last couple games. Maybe that's finally broke him out. So after Curcio hits a bomb, the batter will be Cade Cook. First pitch to Cook is in there for a strike. Next pitch is off the mark. Count evens out at 1-1. The 1-1 is outside. Count moves to 2-1. The 2-1 is cut on and chopped to the third baseman, who takes a step back and gloves it, throws it across the diamond in time for out number one. So with Cook retired, batter will now be Caleb McCarty. First pitch to McCarty is swung on and missed for strike one. Next pitch is outside. Count evens up 1-1. The 1-1 is in the dirt. Count moves to 2-1 now. The 2-1 is low, ball three. And that pitch is in there for a strike. So now we're all full up here. Here's the payoff. Swung on and slapped to the left side, but foul. Another payoff is chopped right in front of home plate. Catcher gloves it. Will throw to first in time. And there's the second out. So McCarty retired, and now that'll bring up Logan Stradley. Here's the pitch. Swung on and hit very hard, but also well foul toward the first base side. Next pitch is fouled straight back, so count will move to 0-2 now. Here's the 0-2. And no go on the check swing. So that'll move the count to 1-2 now. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And that's in there for strike 3. Lions do get one back, however, off of a Billy Baum's Will Curcio home run. Score is now 10-6. We'll be back after this break. Here we now go in the top of the 4th inning. Ryan Ely back on the mound for the Lions. Here's the pitch, and it's in there for strike 1. Next pitch is another slider in there for strike 2. Next pitch is grounded through the left side, and that'll be a single. Once again, Ryan Ely just getting extremely unlucky, as that's another very slowly hit ball that just finds a hole. Next pitch from Ely is hit high and deep to center. Stradley has a beat on it and will catch it on the warning track for out number 1. Score is currently 10-6. Johnson with 10 hits, Lions with 5. Both teams have 1 error on the game. Next pitch from Ely is hit sharply to shortstop Campos, who gloves it, throws it to Denaj, and on to first to complete the double play. So Ely out for his 2nd inning of work makes short work of the Johnson lineup. Lions currently down 4. We'll be back after this break. We are now a go here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Score is 10-6 Johnson. And the first batter for the Lions will be the leadoff Cyrus Campos, who will look at the first pitch outside for ball one. The 1-0 is swung on and missed. Count evens out 1-1. Here's the 1-1 to Campos. And he'll look at a ball inside, which will move the count to 2-1. And swinging a high fly ball to left field. See ya, Cyrus Campos Apodaca. Cyrus Campos goes deep to left field. That ball's in the pond. And now the score is 10-7. So a solo shot from Cyrus Campos cuts the lead down to 3, and now the batter will be Jaron Morris, who will swing at the first pitch and hit it very high and deep, but also well foul toward right field. Here's the 0-1. Oh my, that one almost hit him. Way high and tight. Count moves to 1-1. The 1-1 is off the mark outside. Count moves to 2-1 now. The 2-1 is swung on and fouled back. Count evens out at 2-2. Here's the 2-2 offer. Swinging a grounder to third base side, but foul. Here's another 2-2 to Morris, and that one almost runs in and gets him in the helmet. Watch your lips, Jaron Morris. Count now moves to 3-2. Here's the payoff. Swung on and fouled back. Here's another payoff. Swung on and fouled toward the third base dugout, so we'll do it again. Here's the next payoff. And that pitch is low, ball 4. So Jaron Morris walks, and now the batter will be Brody Genter. Looks like Jackson Ballou on the base pass to run for Morris. Here's the pitch. Swinging a rocket to left field, and that's going to fall for a base hit. So Genter singles, and now the Lions have something cooking here. Runners at first and second, nobody out. And it looks like Johnson might go to the bullpen here. And coach signals for it. So there will be a pitching change. We'll be back after this break. We are now here after the pitching change. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Batter Denaj Williams. Here's the pitch, and that's upstairs and out, ball one. Lions currently trail 3. Score is 10-7. The 1-0 is in the exact same spot. Count moves to 2-0. The 2-0 is swung on and missed. Count moves to 2-1 now. Here's the 2-1. And that pitch well inside. Count moves to 3-1 now. Here's the 3-1. And that pitch is upstairs, ball 4. So now bases will be loaded with nobody out, and the batter will be Jack Reynolds. First pitch of Reynolds is swung on and missed. Reynolds did have a grand slam last night that sealed the mercy rule for the Lions. Right here, he doesn't really need to do much. A simple single will put the Lions back in this as he'll look at the next pitch low for ball one. Williams at first, Genter at second. Jackson Ballou at third. Here's the 1-1 offer. Swing and a pop-up to the left side. That one will stay in and will be caught for out number one. No tag from Ballou at third. And we're going to have another pinch runner for Brody Genter.
It'll be J.D. McCurry.
And the batter is Will Curcio, who hit a home run his last AB.
Hopefully that was a slump breaker, and he can do some real damage here.
That would be huge for the Lions as they're currently down 3. This is a 7-inning game as well. So that means we are nearing the later stages of this game as he'll hit a chopper to third. He'll throw to second for one and on to first to complete the double play. So nothing doing for the Lions after getting bases loaded with no outs. Lions not able to capitalize on that. Score is 10-7. We'll be back after this break. Here we now go in the top of the 5th inning. Ryan Ely back on the mound for the Lions as he'll deliver strike one. There does seem to be some action in the Lions bullpen. Next pitch from Ely is outside. Count evens out 1-1. Next pitch from Ely is low and inside. Count moves to 2-1. The 2-1 is in there. Count evens up, strike two. The 2-2 home is hit sharply on the ground to Campos, who can't glove it. And the runner will reach first safely. That ball ate Campos up, and that's going to be an error. So now runner at first, nobody out. Next pitch from Ely is outside for ball one. The 1-0 is swung on and hit sharply. Ground ball through the left side. That'll be another single. Ryan Ely getting very unlucky here once again. Another softly hit ground ball that just found a hole, and now there's runners at first and second with nobody out. Corners playing in, probably anticipating a bunt right here, and they anticipated right. Batter did square to bunt, pulled it back, but that is in the zone, strike one. Next pitch is grounded foul toward the third base side. So now the count is 0-2. And a pickoff attempt from Ely. No good. Runner back safely at second. One of the rare times you'll see Ely pick off. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and chopped foul over the third base dugout. Here's another 0-2. And that's hit softly on the ground. Once again, finding a hole. And runner gets caught up between second and third. Will throw it, and it's dropped by...
Kind of an awkward play there. It was dropped by Williams, so everybody will end up safe. Another run will score. Still no outs in the inning.
Ely once again getting very unlucky. That ball was once again hit softly, found a hole, and then they had the runner caught between second and third, but defense just couldn't figure out how to get him out, apparently, as that pitch is hit high and deep to left. And that ball is going to be caught right up against the wall. Runner will tag, and there we go. That's what we like to see. Runner tried to tag from second, and Reynolds threw him out at third. Score is 11-7 Johnson. What a play out there from Jack Reynolds. Next pitch from Ely is outside, ball one. The 1-0. And that's in there. Strike one. Here's the 1-1. Swung on a hit sharply to Curcio, who gloves it, throws it across the diamond, and there's the third out. So Ely having a good day on the bump so far. Lions currently trailing 11-7 here in the fifth. We'll be back after this break. Here we now go in the bottom of the fifth inning. First batter for the Lions is Cade Cook. Lions currently down 11-7 as we are now in the later part of this game because this is a 7-inning game. First pitch to Cook is swung on and missed, strike one. And we have some pitch calm issues for Johnson. And so they're going to call time while they figure this out. We're going to go on a quick break. So we're back after the pitch calm debacle, and Cook will look at the next pitch outside. Next pitch is in there for strike 2. The 1-2, and that's in the dirt. Skips away from the catcher. Count moves to 2-2 now. Next pitch to Cook is fouled over the first base dugout. So count remains 2-2 here. Here's the pitch. Swung on and flied to right. Right fielder barely moves, camps under it, and will squeeze it for the first out. So with Cook retired, the batter will now be Caleb McCarty. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 1. Next pitch is in there for strike 1. The 1-1 is high and tight. Count moves to 2-1. The 2-1 is outside. Count moves to 3-1. Here's the pitch. Swung on and hit high and deep to center, and the center fielder will track it down at about the warning track for out number 2.
McCarty's just got to tip his cap there. That was a really good swing. Wind blowing in, kind of killed it, and a great play by the center fielder.
So now the batter will be Logan Stradley, and he'll swing at the first pitch and pop it up on the infield to the right side. First baseman calling everybody off, and he'll drop it. And he drops it in fair play, so Stradley will be on first. And now the Lions are back to the top of their order, and Cyrus Campos. First pitch to Campos is outside and low, ball 1. The 1-0 to Campos is in there for a strike. Count now evens at 1-1. Here's the 1-1 delivery, and that pitch is outside. Count moves to 2-1. Next pitch is in there for strike 2. So 2's all across the scoreboard. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs here. Stradley at first. Lions down 4. Here's the pitch. Stradley takes off, swinging a rocket foul. So we'll do it again. Count remains 2-2. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. So Campos strikes out swinging, nothing doing for the Lions here in this inning. We'll be back after this break. We are now go here in the top of the 6th inning. New face on the mound for the Lions, Eli Walker. First pitch he throws is hammered foul toward right field. Here's the 0-1. Swung on and popped up to the right side, and that one is going to get out of play. So now the count 0-2 here. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled back. So we'll do it again. Here's the 0-2. And that pitch is in the dirt, ball one. Score is currently 11-7. Here's the pitch. And it's off the mark as well. Count evens up at 2-2. Here's the 2-2 home. Swung on and missed. Strike three. Walker comes out of the pen and immediately records his first strikeout of the game. Here's Walker's next pitch, and it's hit right back up the middle, past the sliding Campos for a base hit. So now runner at first with one out. Here's the next pitch from Walker, and that one misses for ball one. Here's the 1-0. In the dirt, good block right there from Jaron Morris. And count now move to 2-0. Here's the 2-0, and that one's inside, ball three. The 3-0 runner takes off, but it will not matter as that is ball four. So now Johnson will have runners at first and second with one out. Here's Walker's next pitch, and that one well outside. Good job right there from Morris to keep that ball from getting to the backstop. And Coach Day going to call time and head out to the mound. So no pitching change just yet. Runners at first and second, 1 out, and the count is currently 1-0. Here's the pitch. Outside and high, ball 2. The 2-0 is in there for a strike. The 2-1 is a shot hit to right, but right at the right field Cook. And there's the second out of the inning.
So now Walker's in a really good spot to pick up the final out of this inning.
Next pitch from Walker is outside for ball 1. The 1-0 from Walker is in the dirt. Next pitch is in the dirt. Count moves to 3-0. Here's the 3-0. And that pitch is also off the mark, so it'll be a 4-pitch walk to load the bases with 2 outs. So bases loaded now with 2 outs. Here's the next pitch from Walker, and that pitch is high.
Now with the bases loaded, Walker needs to pick up this final out and try to keep the Lions in this game.
Next pitch from Walker is foul. So that'll now move the count to 1-1. Here's the next pitch. Swung on, and that will fall for a hit. 1 run will score. And here comes the second runner that will score. And now the runners are going to head to second and third because the throw got away. And now Johnson leads 13-7. Here's the next pitch from Walker, and that one's going to hit him on the shoulder. So once again, the bases are going to be loaded with 2 outs. So after that hit by pitch, looks like Coach Day is going to make a move to the bullpen. We'll be back after this break. Here we now go after the pitching change. New pitcher for the Lions is Jack Black. He's already pitched once today, and he did pretty good last game, but he's coming into a kind of a hairy situation, bases loaded, but there is 2 outs. And the next pitch is hit fairly well, but also fairly foul down the right field side. The 1-1 is in there, strike 2. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and hit to center. Right to Stradley, who will glove it for the 3rd out. So Jackson Black comes out of the bullpen and does his job, gets the 3rd out. Lions currently down 13-7. We'll be back after this break. We are now a go here in the bottom of the 6th inning. First batter for the Lions will be Jaron Morris. Morris will look at the first pitch in there for strike one. Here's the 0-1. Swing and fouled right back at us. So Morris quickly finds himself behind 0-2 now. Here's the pitch, and that one almost ran in and got him. Count moves to 1-2. The 1-2 is swung on and foul to the third base side. So the count remains 2-1. Here's the pitch, and that one is off the mark. Count evens up at 2-2. The 2-2 offer is outside, and now we're all full up at 3-2. Next pitch is clobbered, but foul. Here's the next payoff. And that pitch is outside, ball 4. So Morris starts the inning off right for the Lions by getting on with a walk. And now the batter will be Brody Genter as Jackson Ballou will come on to pinch run. First pitch to Genter is outside for ball 1. The 1-0 is swung on and hit to the left side through the hole. So Genter singles once again, and now the Lions have something cooking here. Runners on first and second with nobody out, and the batter is Denaj Williams. Here's the first pitch to Williams, and that's inside for ball 1. The 1-0 is swung on and hit high and deep to right field, and see ya! Number 13 on the year and number 1 in the nation. Denaj Williams, 3-run homer, his 13th one, and now he leads the nation in home runs. Just like that, the Lions now only trailing 3. Now the batter will be Jack Reynolds, who swings at the first pitch and will send it into right field for a base hit. So now the batter is Will Curcio. Here's first pitch to Curcio, and he'll square to bunt but pull straight back as that ball almost hit him. Count moves to 1-0. The 1-0 is cut on and hit down the right field line. Is that one going to stay fair? It will! And that one will bounce up against the wall. Curcio into second. And Reynolds into third. Still nobody out. And now steps up Cade Cook. Cook with an opportunity for an RBI right here. And Johnson's going to go out for a mound visit. Batter is now Cade Cook as he'll look at a ball low. Runners currently at second and third. Nobody out. Here's the 1-0. And that's in there for strike one. The 1-1 is outside. Count moves to 2-1. The 2-1 is cut on and hit up the middle. Base hit. One run will score. Curcio held at third. And it's an RBI single for Cade Cook. Score is now 13-11 after Cookie left no crumbs. As that pitch is, oh man, whew, that was a close one over there at third. It was a line drive caught by the third baseman, basically on the bag. Good job by Curcio to get back in time. And now there's one out. And now the batter will be Logan Stradley. Cook at first, Curcio on third. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball one. Next pitch is outside, ball two. Here's the 2-0 to Stradley, and a big swing and a foul ball. Now the count is 2-1. Here's the pitch to Stradley, who will softly hit a ground ball to the shortstop, and he'll get thrown out at first, but not before Curcio scores from third. Score is now 13-12. And with that, the Lions are back to the top of their order, and Cyrus Campos here's the first pitch to Campos, and he'll take first pitch strike. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a foul ball toward a third base dugout. Count now moves to 0-2. The 0-2 is cut on and missed for strike three. So Lions get the score within one. Score is 13-12 as we head to the seventh. We are now a go here in the top of the seventh inning. New face on the mound for the Lions, Logan Sullivan. His 1-0 is in there for a strike. Count moves to 1-1. Here's the 1-1. And that one is upstairs, ball two. And next pitch is a swing and a miss, strike 2. Here's the pitch. And that's in there, strike 3. So Sullivan comes out of the pen and quickly records a strikeout, 1 down. Here's the next pitch from Sullivan, and that's in there for a strike. The 0-1. And that one's just off the mark. Count evens out at 1-1. Next pitch is off the mark. Count moves to 2-1. The 2-1 is off the mark. Count now moves to 3-1. And that one is off the mark as well, so it'll be a walk. Johnson now has a runner at first with 1 out. Next pitch from Sullivan is a slow chopper foul over towards third base. Next pitch is low. Count evens out 1-1. The 1-1 offer is hit very hard toward the right center gap. That's going to fall and roll to the wall. Cook's got to get it in quickly if they want to prevent this run. And he will. Runner will not score, but now runners are at second and third with 1 out. And Corey Reinhardt going out for a mound visit.
like 50.
So after the mound visit, Sullivan throws strike one. Runners at second and third, one out. Next pitch is outside and low. Count moves to an even 1-1 now. Infielders playing in, hoping to prevent the run as the Lions are currently down 13-12 here in possibly this last inning. The 1-1 is off the mark. Count moves to 2-1. The 2-1 is swung on and missed. Strike two. The 2-2 is low. Ball three. So now we're all full up here. 3-2, one out. Runner at second and third. Here's the payoff. And that pitch is outside. Really good job right there from Morris to keep that ball from getting to the backstop. And now bases will be loaded with one out. So now a pitching change for the Lions. Ty Nettles is going to come in. And we'll be back after this break. So after the pitching change, Ty Nettles will come in and pitch for the Lions. Bases loaded with one out, and the first pitch is swung on and missed for strike one. Still one out here. Lions trailing a run, score 13-12. here in possibly this last inning of play. The 0-1 is popped up to shallow left field. That's not going to be near deep enough as that just barely gets out of the infield, and there's out number 2. So now 2 outs with the bases loaded. Infield going to go back into normal depth. Next pitch from Nettles. And, it foul ball, it hit the bat. So, okay. Very interesting situation happening. Ball kind of sailed over the batter's back, but it clearly blatantly hit his bat because the ball ended up going towards the third base dugout.
It fouled off his bat into Jaron's mask. I mean, I feel like there wasn't any doubt about it at all.
Absolutely not, and it's kind of poor communication from the home plate umpire because he didn't signal anything.
No, he didn't, and now that's caused a ton of confusion. He put his hands up low and late. And
they are going to call it a foul ball. So Lions catch a bit of a break here.
And that'll be strike 1.
Here's the 0-1. And that pitch is off the mark. Count evens out 1-1. The 1-1 offer is in there. Strike 2. And now the count is 1-2. This might be one of the most important pitches of the game. And it's outside for ball 2.
Huge stop by Jaron right there.
Here's the 2-2. Swung on and popped up. Right side. Williams calling everybody off. And the Lions are back in the dugout. They trail a run as we head to the bottom half of this inning, and it's do or die for the Lions. We'll be back after this break.
on. Hang tough. Hang tough. Oh, that's off.
Keep working, Brody.
Hang tough. Hang tough. We've got Denaj on deck. Oh, okay. That's all right. That's all right. Denaj!
Come on, Didi!
Go, Denaj. Walk him off, baby.